Hello, all. Today we'll be talking about patterns of growth. We'll be talking about, we have already discussed different stages like infancy, prenatal. We have talked about um, different stages in childhood. Phase of development. We have talked about early childhood, middle childhood, late childhood, and now today we'll be talking about the adolescent phase. Basically, this phase is here in the discussion will be restricting to the pre-pubertal phase, and also we'll be talking about the adolescent phases, like we have discussed in our previous sessions also how different stages are being different domains of development are being changed across different stages, right? So accordingly we'll be discussing all these stages. Even in the pre-pubertal, how pre-pubertal phase or how pre-adolescent phase, which is determined by the onset of puberty, are determining the growth and development of an adolescent later on, and how it is influencing on not just their physical development but their sexual orientation, their sexual development, their brain development, cognitive development, social development, behavioral development, a lot more, right? So we'll be talking all of it. Beginning with the presentation. So how do you define, first of all, this adolescence period? There are a lot many definitions for this age categorization. Different countries have the different context. Again, when I talked about the childhood phase, that again comes in context with your schooling phases, right? So accordingly, those age categorization are determined with respect to the policies, the programs which are already existing, and how those policies and programs are targeting a specific group of population. So they have their specific contextualization. So for some countries you categorize it at the age of onset, which is not specified, so it would vary for both males and females, and it will go on until and unless you pass out from the college, from the schools. So that becomes one categorization. For some of the sources, if you refer to, they define it from the age group like 12 years. If we talk about in Indian context, we categorize it from 12 years till the 18 years of age. So therefore this categorization again is very much contextual, and we have to refer to the standard reference if you are studying one population group, right? But here I am referring to MSD manual, which defined adolescent period as a developmental period during which the dependent children, they are growing up to be an independent adult. So that beginning of the phase, now again this is very much contextual. How do you understand the independent adult? Because is it financially, is it socially, is it like you are having your own house, or is it with respect to your financial stability, right? So this independence again is very much contextual. So when we talk about adolescence period, it is the shift that we are seeing when a child is going is maturing within the schooling phase, starting with the puberty, a different phase of their life, to growing out to be an adult, an independent adult, so to say, or they start going to the colleges. So this generally begins at the age of around 10 to 12 years, depending on again male and female, because they have different age of onset of their puberty, right? So this stage begins at 10 to 12 years, but it lasts till your teenagehood, or until, generally categorized in Indian context, if we say it is till 18 years. If we say in a general term, it is generally considered to be your early 20s. In some of the publications you will see 22 years also as categorization of considering adolescence age. So therefore it varies with respect to different references. In this stage, why is it important to study this stage again? It's a very complex and a very very dynamic process, which is categorized by different simultaneously synchronous development happening within a person. And as I told, it is not just about the physical development or the development within your sexual orientation or your sexual maturation phase, but it also implicates your psychological development, your behavioral development, your social development. As when we talked about the late childhood phase, we identified how late childhood is having very much a very critical role in the peer group formation, how that public image or how that school performance, school academic participation was very much important. So that again comes into play when we are trying to understand adolescence. Here, therefore, depending on how the stimulation is being provided in your late childhood, in your early childhood, or how your motivation towards your life, how your family is implying on your lives, on your lifestyle again, is actually having a lot implication on your on one's adolescent phase, the development during the adolescent phase. So it's very dynamic, it's very complex process which needs to be understood considering different domains simultaneously. You cannot just study about their sexual maturation if because it specifically considers about the pubertal changes, right? It starts with the puberty, so lot many physical sexual changes are definitely there, but it does not restricts itself just to the puberty or just to the sexual maturations phase, right? So that is about it. This stage basically, when we talk about the early societies or societies that pre-industrial society, so to say, basically the length of puberty that we saw in those societies versus the puberty age of onset of puberty right now, like in contemporary times, it's huge. There's a huge difference. Why so? There are a lot many reasons. Basically, what we have observed so far, this age of onset of puberty is gradually decreasing, like it's beginning during a late childhood phase, right? If you observe within your own family, if you see a child, like compare your own age of for girls, if I had to say, compare your age of menarche versus your current new generations who are there in your family, how and when is their age of menarche being when is their stage of onset. So try and observe, there's a lot of difference between these two ages, because the main reason here is there are other reasons, like you have your own hormonal challenges, and then there are other reasons like pattern of heredity and environmental reasons, climate change, a lot many reasons. But the main reason here that so many researchers have emphasized is about the role of schooling, then role of good nurturance, and then importance of having a financial stability. Women are very much involved into working categories, and then that has an implication on this reduction of age. Plus there are other reasons, like we have many information through media being provided to us, being imparted, lot many information are being misused. So those are actually there are researchers that cite these reasons as the major cause of reduction in the age of onset. So that is one thing. If we see in today, in the contemporary times, puberty begins at the age of 10 to 12 years for girls and 11 to 12 years for boys. This has basically shown a remarkable reduction over time since our 19th century. If we compare in the pre-industrial era, by almost 3 to 4 months. So within a decade, that reduction has been by 3 to 4 months, right? So this is again one area of research that could be looked after, like how and what are the major reasons, and what is the current growing trend, if we had to say, because if climate and environmental reasons and a lot other contextual reasons are still existing, still persisting, then the burden would be further worsening the age of onset. So that could be one area of research. If you are interested in looking for, you can have the references. Then this shift is due to multiple factors, as I've already talked. It could be with respect to your nutrition, your dietary pattern, then your obesity could be one reason, your lifestyle, your parents' lifestyle, your family's lifestyle. Then essentially the role of media has been very much criticized with respect to this. Now this age of puberty, beginning of the age of puberty or the onset of puberty is implicating lot many physical changes in your body, and that is when you say that a person is transitioning from later childhood to the adolescent phase. So therefore it is very much important, like I told you in the childhood phase also, the middle childhood age, which is generally perceived to be the transitionary phase, wherein a child is going from a preschool environment to a school environment, and there are a lot many differences therefore, and lot many behavioral changes are expected out of that child, right? So therefore that development phase, it's very much impacted because of that transition. So that transition phase becomes very much important to be studied, one thing. Similarly, if we see with respect to adolescence, when a child is growing within themselves, they're observing lot many changes. And here the role of peer group, role of family, role of teachers again is very much critical in imparting correct information, in imparting correct guidance to them. So apart from those physical changes are actually impacting on their other phases of development. So therefore this onset of physical changes, as marked by pubertal changes, therefore is understood as the onset of adolescence. How do you understand puberty? First of all, now it's understood as a rapid growth and sexual development that begins in the adolescence or the pre-adolescence phase. It starts somewhat at your 8 to 14 years of age. That is the average consideration, because for some it is quite early, for some it is still happening at the at the bracket that we are considering around 12 years of age. So it's totally contextual to everybody, depending on their hormonal or their pattern of heredity within their family, and also the environmental reasons again. So this whole cumulative effect of their sexual development plus their rapid growth, linear growth, their skeletal growth, their sexual maturation, all together is an indicator of the onset of puberty. To a large extent, these pubertal changes, they to a large if we have to give a generalized view, a generalized opinion for a large community, a population, so to say, the sequence is quite predictable, right? We can say, okay, there will be a few, we'll be discussing 2 phases of puberty. So these 2 phases are happening simultaneously, and then we can say, okay, the physical changes, and then therefore the onset of the primary and the secondary sexual characteristics. So simultaneously they're happening and they're visible. So simultaneously you will see these are predictable sequences that will go they will be happening in a sequence, but we cannot really predict when, where these onset could happen, these indicators could appear. We cannot say for sure. We can give a broader bracket. As we are saying here, we are talking about 8 to 14 years. It's a very very broad bracket. Here we are including the late childhood, the transitionary phase, we are including the late childhood, we are including the puberty plus the pre-adolescence phase. So it's a broader bracket, so to say, right? But if in a generalized sense, if we had to express how these pubertal changes are observed, so these sequences needs to be looked for, and therefore we must not go entirely by the age of the person, but by the sequence of events that have happened with respect to puberty or with respect to the late childhood indicators plus the pre-adolescence phase. So that is one thing. Now these age of onset of puberty, or the onset of puberty at the desirable position or in within your body part, because here we are not just talking about the sexual maturation, here we are also talking about the skeletal growth. So there's a rapid growth in your height, weight, which is generally referred to as growth spurt. So these plus the age again varies for person to person because of the environmental reasons, their dietary habits. If for instance, if I had to say, a malnourished child would be showing the pubertal symptoms quite delayed versus a person who is well nourished as in with respect to their nutritional status. So therefore we cannot entirely state the age of onset for 2 different persons exposed to 2 different contexts, right? So that becomes very much important to be understood. Both for boys and girls, again, these changes are different. If we had to talk about the growth spurt, which is a sudden increase in their height and the weight, then their growth of pubic or the underarm hairs and the changes within the skin, that again is very much different for both boys and girls. Because for instance, boys, they experience their growth in the facial hairs, whereas girls do not. Boys indicate a sort of deepening in their voice changes, which for girls does not happen. Then for girls, if you had to say, there is a change in their breast, their hips development, right? Then there's a start of menstruation phase. So all these things are differently, if we had to say, for both boys and girls. These changes are driven by the changes in hormones, which is, if we talk in terms of boys, with respect to the increase in testosterone, and with respect to girls, with in terms of estrogen. I will not be going into detail with respect to these hormones, but I'll be talking about the changes, about the patterns that we're observing. Because if you had to read about it, you can contact me. I can give you the references. But that is not so far with a requirement of your syllabus. So we'll be just having the patterns which you are observing in different age categorization, or in different phases of life, but not exactly the details about these hormones, like the biological background of it. Okay. Yeah. Plus, especially with respect to other previous ages of stages of development, this changes here in the puberty, the physical change. Because in the previous phases we have talked how our extremities are growing. Like in the late childhood, we are saying how our extremities are growing, you know more than, with respect to, proportionally, the growth of extremities is more than our core, the trunk part, right? So here again, physical changes are observed. As I talked about the growth spurt, we'll be talking about it in detail. These physical changes are very much remarkable when we're talking in the puberty phase. It's more remarkable, it's more significant with respect to any previous stages, because here it is not just about your linear growth or your skeletal growth. It's also about your sexual maturation, which again is implicating on your hormones and other forms of development. Okay, so this becomes again remarkable form of observation, so to say, in the puberty phase or in the pre-adolescence phase. Now, what are the hormonal changes that we observe during the puberty phase? So puberty has distinct physiological changes, be it in terms of your height, be it in terms of your weight, your body composition. As in, if we talk before the onset of puberty, the proportion almost of both boys and girls with respect to their fat content, apart from children who are having childhood obesity or things like that, in general, concluding remark, if I had to say, they are having a similar fat content, like both male and female, both girls and boys. But here, a different composition is indicated. There is a different fat content, their muscle mass increases. So all in over, your body composition is showing a significant change, is a part of your physiological change. Along with it, there is a change in your respiratory or circulatory system, right? Because again, the hormonal changes, but also you are more and more involved in the physical activity, like again depending on the context. So you are more and more involved into the physical activity, so that again helps you in the growth of your extremities, growth of your height, linear growth, skeletal growth, and your body composition as well. The stage is largely influenced by the hormonal activities. For instance, we've all talked, there's a rush of testosterone in boys and estrogen in girls. So that hormonal activity is also implicating changes over your moods, your behavior, your involvement in physical activity, your social skill, your psychological, your cognitive development again is being inflicted. Then your neurological development is being impacted upon. So role of your hormones is again playing a very important role here. in two ways we understand the role of hormones in puberty. First is in terms of organizational behavior, as in, firstly, our body is being prepared to behave in a way because there are few pre-pubertal changes happening within our body. So those are a part of organizational behavior, or the organizational role that we understand for the role of hormones within our body. Then second, there is the activation. There is the actual pubertal phase wherein your physical changes, your sexual maturation happens, your glands or your hormones are being activated, your behavior is being triggered upon. So all those things are being indicative of your activational role of your hormones. So these two are the ways where we understand the role of hormones. Now, as I was talking, there are two different phases of puberty. First is adrenarche and the gonadorrhea. Adrenarche means it's again the part of your organizational role, which begins before in the pre-pubertal phase. It begins during 6 to 8 years roughly, or 6 to 8 years of your age. Here we are talking essentially about the production of your hormones, which are leading to the skeletal growth. Okay, here essentially your physical change is being visible or is being affected with respect to your hormonals or the hormonal change in terms of your linear growth, in terms of your skeletal growth, right? Second thing is gonadorrhea, wherein there is the production of hormones which are related to your physical and the sexual maturation, because gonadorrhea, as in gonads are being maturing, gonads are being that age of maturation of gonads or your sex glands, right? So that involves the production of hormones which are related to your sexual maturation, and here physical changes with respect to your sexual maturation. Now, what is exactly do we understand by sexual maturation? I'm pretty sure your background in biology, you're acquainted to all these features or the traits of maturation of or the sexual changes that you observe during the puberty. So we are aware of the primary and the secondary sexual characteristics that are developing, as in the primary being your gonads itself, and then your secondary being something which is not related to your sexual activities, like for instance, in terms of girls, if I had to say, your breast and hip development, right? In boys, if I had to say, your voice, your facial hairs. So all of these are part of your secondary characteristics. So these characteristics are developing, they are taking place, and they are maturing. They are in a maturation phase. Then there is a further development of your pubic, your underarm hairs. Then also an increased development is observed in terms of your sweat glands. If you would notice, before, like until your late childhood or entire childhood phase, so to say, sweat glands basically are not not having a crucial role to play. You are, if we consult a doctor considering the adolescent phase or their puberty phase also, the challenges or the changes, if so to say, they're observing, of just to observe whether there is a trend of development or not. So this sweat gland plays a major role. Apart from pubic hairs or the visible characteristics, these things also play a major role. That there's a visible characteristics of the sweating and the order from a body as an indicator of puberty. So that becomes one important criteria. There's also an upsurge of hormones, again, contextually, both for boys and girls. In terms of girls, if you had to say, there is an observational changes, like there's a growth in the nipple size, then there are pubic hairs, then menarche is one important trait. So all of these are considered as a phase of sexual maturation within girls. But for boys, like if you had to say about the growth of testes, then there are pubic hairs visibly there, or their facial hairs. Then there's also an increased penis size. Also, one important characteristic is the first ejaculation phase, which is considered as spermachy. That also again is very much in a broader age categorization of 12 to 14 years, so to say. Then there are facial hairs, there's a growth spurt, especially in boys, there's a visible growth spurt. Then there are voice changes. So, all of these are considered as the characteristics of sexual maturation within the puberty phase or within the adolescent phase. Then, what is this growth spurt that we have been talking for so long? So, growth spurt is understood as a sudden or a rapid increase in your height and weight. It could not be, it need not be proportional. So, I mean, it does not mean that with respect to your height, your weight is also improving. That does not mean, but all of a sudden, there is a growth observed within either your height, either your weight, or both. So, this is understood as growth spurt, and both for male and female, these experiences are different. So, okay, so before the onset of this growth spurt, for over 2 to 3 years, you know, when your body was not showing that sudden increase in height, before that there was a constant role that your hormones were playing. There was constant release of your hormones, your thyroid hormones, your growth hormones. All of these were constantly there. They were waiting for the correct age. Like, as I told, we cannot determine when that age is going to be, but beforehand your organizational role of your hormones is already activated. So for over 3 or 4 years, those hormones have been playing their role, and when a suitable age comes, when they are in the maturation phase, when they feel like when they feel like the environment is suitable, then that in that case basically you observe a sudden growth in your height and in your weight. Now, this growth spurt is totally different for both males and females. These experiences are totally different. When we talk in terms of males, their experiences for the growth spurt are basically 2 years after. That age categorization for female is generally, we see they are prior to when we see the male's growth spurt. For girls, it happens between 8 to 13 years of age, including both the activation and then the growth spurt. 8 to 13 years of age, with the adult height being reached almost when they are 10 to 16 years of their age. For some, definitely, during that age, again, there are again researches about it, how different consumption of different what are those products, supplements, which claim that they could increase your height, or so to say increase your stature. So those, again, from a research point of view, their role become important. What exactly is their role? Are they at what intervention are we here talking about the stage when we see the growth spurt already, or is it beforehand, like before there was the activation of growth spurt, there was a release of all sort of hormones in your body, and then they played their role? So all those biochemical role of these supplements could be really interesting if you had to look for that, right? So for girls, between 8 to 13 years of their age, this growth spurt is generally observed, and they reach a height, the adult height, so to say, without any form of supplement or without any form of external external factor coming into play. They reach their adult height until 16 years of age. Okay. For boys, what we see, that growth spurt is almost between 10 to 16 years, right? And they reach the adult height when they are almost in their college going, like starting the college sort of age. So that is how you understand for boys. Now, in a very layman term, if I had to say, you observe for girls, you observe your brothers who are in schools with you, or even your classmates, till a certain age, till a certain class. You would see that they are standing in line, almost like in the assembly line, so to say. They are standing in the line almost next to you or almost near to you in the assembly line, with respect to height I'm talking. So when you reach almost 10 or 11th standard, you see that their height has all of a sudden increased, right? So because it could be a societal role that we are that boys are mostly involved in physical activity. They are constantly their metabolism is quite strong, their hormonal activity is also simultaneously being stimulated. So all of these factors are the major reason that we see a sudden increase in the boy's height with respect to your like the girl's height. So this could be a major difference, and there could be further research being explored about it. Okay. Apart from your genes, apart from your hormones, apart from your hereditary pattern, there are few traits like your dietary pattern, your protein intake, so to say, your nutrient intake, and your calorie intake. All of these have a major implication on your um, on your on your growth spurt, especially on your physical growth. But apart from your skeletal growth, definitely, but apart from that, your growth spurt essentially. So this was about growth spurt. um, in the next session we'll be starting about adolescence. The references I've attached with the but I'll also be attaching in the description, so you can just go through all these references. These are quite helpful, and these are quite basic references that you can refer for. Any questions, any comments are welcome. Thank you.